Kyle Lobb.
And I'm Vanessa Hyatt.
And this is our spiral video for our functional class. Today we'll be talking about the spiral fascial line throughout the body. I will be explaining about a little bit more about where the line goes throughout the body. Then Vanessa here will be talking a little bit about the postural and movement functions. We have 3 exercises to help lengthen the line, and then we're going to be talking just a little bit more about the back and front lines as well. All right, so I'm going to begin about talking a little bit about where the spiral line goes throughout the body. So the spiral line usually starts off at the splenius capitis, just under the skull. It goes right down across the spine to the rhomboids. After that, if you make your way past the ribs through the serratius anterior, the 2 lines on each side of the body intersect at the linea alba, which then lead down to the anterior superior iliac spine and go down the lateral side of the upper leg, and then cross the tibia anterior to the medial side of the lower leg, down the sole of the foot, up again to the lateral side of the lower leg, and then through the bicep femoris up to the sacrotuberal ligament, through the erector spinae, and right back up to the occipital ridge where it begins first off. So, in a nutshell, that is where the line goes throughout the body. Now, Vanessa, why don't you talk a little bit more about the functional and postural functions of the spiral line?
All right, so the postural function of the spiral line is that it actually wraps the body in a double spiral, which maintains a state of homeostasis, so a complete balance of all the planes. Another thing it does as well is it also connects the foot of the arches of the foot with the pelvic angle. It also assists in movements like rotations, twists, and lateral movements as well, which are also then compensated through the spiral line. Now, moving on to the movement function is that it actually creates rotations and spirals throughout the body. It also prevents the arch system of the foot from going into aching stress.
Great.
Yeah.
So now we have 3 exercises that we're going to be talking to you about how to properly lengthen the spiral line. We'll also be going about how to do the exercises, a progression, and other lines that this may affect. So the first stretch we're going to have is a simple rotational twist. You're going to have your client with their feet shoulder-width apart and their toes pointed outwards, their arms extended to roughly about the shoulder level. Then you're going to instruct them to turn throughout the hip to one side while having the heel of their opposite foot off the ground. What this is going to do is not only is it going to stretch the anterior part of the spiral line, but also a little bit of the lateral line as well. Now, for a progression to this line, what you can do is have your client bend at the hip and then stretch like this. So that is just one type of stretch. So why don't you talk a little bit more about another one?
Yeah, so the second stretch that you can do as well is actually when you take your client and have them lay supinated, flat on their back, arms fully flat, palms flat on the floor, and the flanges of the foot facing up to the sky. So what you have to do is you take one of their foot and stretch it all the way up, having the knee fully extended and also the hips flexed as well, with the foot inverted inwardly as well. Then what we do is we rotate the foot laterally to the side there, stretching the IT band, which incorporates the lateral line as well, which thus still leads into the spiral line. Now, a way we can progress this exercise is if we actually have the client flip over in prone position, arms still flat, everything perfectly. And then what we take now is we have the knee go into flexion, and then also laterally quickly move it to the side here as well, still incorporating the IT band, but now you're having a stretch in the superficial back line as well.
So for our final stretch, this is what's called the tabletop stretch. We're going to have our client go on their hands and knees. Yes, and with one arm, you're going to have them fully extend and the opposite leg, and then you're going to have them have a nice slight bend and try and encourage them to stretch their arms and their legs as further apart as possible. If you want to progress this stretch, gently take the client's arm and give it a slight and gentle pull to maximize the stretch. Now, in addition to stretching the spiral line, this stretch will also work the lateral line as well as the superficial back line.
Mm-hmm. Now, talking about the superficial back line, an exercise that can actually show it really well is actually called the downward dog position. So Kyle's going to help me demonstrate this. So we have the client lay in prone position again, with their hands laterally flat on their sides. What we do is we have them hyperextend their trunk by pushing upwards and also creating the hip flexors to go into extension. Now, this will incorporate the superficial back line because you can see... front line, sorry, nice catch there. Superficial front line, because all the tensile force is in the front there. So a really cool fact about the superficial front line is that it incorporates fast twitch fibers, which actually assist with fast flexion. So whenever your body senses danger, those fibers will twitch to assist in protecting your internal organs. Now, the back line that works in opposition is actually the superficial back line. So what we would do is have Kyle lay back in prone position, and now actually raise the glutes up to the sky. Perfect. Fully extending the superficial back line because the back line works in hyperextension. Now, another cool fact about the back line is that it works with slow twitch fibers, which actually helps your body from retracting into fetal position. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Kyle.
All right, and that concludes our video. Thank you very much.
Thank you.